After 3 years of waiting for the next season of Jujutsu Kaisen, we are finally able to watch it. With it releasing weekly on Thursdays at 1 PM Eastern Time. Fans of Jujutsu Kaisen get to watch the first half of the new season, which goes over Gojo's past. The episode starts with Mei, a grade 1 level sorcerer who we got to see in Jujutsu Kaisen 0 the movie, and Otahime Yori, a grade 2 level sorcerer who we met last season, going into a house where there is a cursed spirit roaming. As they are searching around the house, it combusts on them and we see Gojo and Geto, who are around the same age as Itadori and Megami from Season 1. We are then introduced to Shoko Yeri, the doctor from Season 1 we met before. The new main trio of this half of the season is Gojo, Geto, and Shoko. We arrive at Jujutsu High, where we learn that Principal Yuga was the sensei of Gojo and Geto in the past. Gojo and Geto then have a conversation between themselves where we learn that Gojo at this age doesn't care about regular people and that they are too weak for him to protect. Geto says that the prevention of cursed spirits is to keep regular people in peace of mind and that society should protect the weak but keep the strong in check, which almost starts a fight between them until Sensei Yuga tells them about their new mission. The mission comes from Master Tengen, which only has 2 objectives. Escort the girl and erase her so Tengen can be put into a new star plasma vessel. We learn that there are 2 groups targeting the girl and they have to reach her before anyone else does. As Gojo and Geto are talking to each other on the phone, the room explodes, sending the vessel flying. As Geto catches the vessel, we get introduced to the first Q soldier, Kokun. At the same time, Gojo is attacked by another Q soldier, Vaya, who lets Gojo know how famous he is. The episode then ends with a shot overlooking the fight and we are introduced to a new character who is a part of the Zenin clan, Toji Fushiguro. Picking up where the last episode ended, Geto catches Kokun, who pleads for Geto to let him go. Kokun tells him Baya is the strongest soldier and that no one can beat him. Geto then shows him his phone, where there is a selfie of Gojo with Baya defeated. We pan over to a boat race, where we see Toji is betting on it. Toji has a conversation with the mediator, and tells him that he won't attack until Gojo is worn down by other attackers. Going along with Toji, the mediator then asks him about his son, Megumi. While trying to take the star plasma vessel, Riko, to a hospital, she wakes up slapping Gojo and yells at them to try and kill her. Her caretaker, Misato, shows up, ending the situation. Riko then tries to explain that she is Master Tengen, which Gojo and Geto could care less about. Wanting to go back to school, Gojo and Geto are forced to take Riko back. Geto explains to Gojo that Riko won't be able to see her friends or family once she becomes Master Tengen. Geto realizes some have been exorcised, so he alerts Gojo they have to get Riko. We see that Toji uses his 30 million he will receive to tire Gojo out. Toji explains that Gojo is the first in hundreds of years to wield both the 6 eyes and limitless cursed techniques. Ending with that he is on his way to Gojo soon. Toji ends the call, where it cuts to Gojo and Geto running to save Riko. Geto runs into an old man in the hallway. The old man can tell Geto's ability is cursed manipulation, which boosts the old man's ego into thinking he is smarter than Geto. Jumping through the window, the old man seems to catch Geto off guard. But his life flashes before his eyes. Getting to see his dead dog again, we see Geto beat the old man. With the episode nearing its end, we see the paper bag assassin is following Gojo and Riko, but Riko's caretaker shows up and takes him down. We see that it isn't the real assassin, and that Gojo is surrounded. Defending Riko, Gojo uses his abilities and tells the assassin he knows his technique already. Flexing how powerful he is, Gojo pulls the assassin through glass and uses his red technique. Gojo fails using cursed technique reversal red, and beats the assassin. We find out the caretaker for Rico has been caught and the episode ends. After learning Rico's caretaker was taken by the enemy, Gojo and Geto conclude that the enemy are probably going to ask for a trade between Rico and her. Saying that she still has not said goodbye to her caretaker, Rico asks to come with them. We cut to seeing Rico, Gojo, and Geto all at the beach. They have already saved the caretaker and Geto wonders why the kidnappers chose Okinawa. Thinking that they might be trying to delay the merger tomorrow, Gojo and Rico laugh at a sea cucumber and Geto tells them it's time to go back. Seeing that Rico is not happy about it, Gojo says they should just leave tomorrow morning instead. Geto questions if Gojo is taking this mission seriously, and tells him he has been using his technique the whole time plus has not slept at all. Gojo says he is fine and that he has Geto with him. Seeing the different sights they all go see, we see Rico, Gojo, and Geto all having fun together. The next day comes and they arrive back at Jujutsu High. Saying that they can all relax now since they are in the barriers, Gojo gets stabbed from behind by Toji. Gojo asks if he has seen Toji somewhere, who responds saying he is not one to remember people's names either. We see in the past that Toji once went to see Gojo as a child. Saying that Gojo was the only person to ever notice him from behind, he says he waited until Gojo was worn down this time. Sending Toji into the air, Gojo tells Geto he is fine and that he needs to bring Rico to Tengen. Toji breaks through the curse Geto sent at him and asks where the vessel went. He tells Gojo that the bounty only ended recently because he wanted to wear down Gojo's techniques. Gojo attacks him, but Toji dodges. Gojo notices Toji has no cursed energy which makes him unable to read his moves. Not being able to tell where Toji moves, Gojo thinks that he should just attack using his cursed energy so he can find him. Using maximum output, cursed technique blue, Gojo destroys the area around him. Bugs come at Gojo circling him. And Toji appears behind Gojo again. Stabbing him in the neck, we learn the cursed tool he uses is the inverted spear of heaven. Toji then cuts Gojo's stomach, stabs him in the leg multiple times, and stabbing him in the head. Leaving Gojo dying on the floor, Toji says he is finally starting to feel like his old self again. We cut to the bottom of Jujutsu High, where Rico gets to finally say goodbye to her caretaker. Finally arriving at the main hall of the Tombs of the Star Corridor, Geto explains to Rico that Gojo and him came to the conclusion that she should make the choice of becoming Tengen or not. Stating no matter what she chooses they will protect her, she gets shot in the head. Saying that it was an entertaining show, Toji claims he killed Gojo. Geto calls out his curses yelling he will kill Toji and the episode ends. Toji and Geto's fight begins. Geto sends his cursed dragon at Toji who dodges. Toji explains his cursed spirit to Geto, saying that he has invisible guts. He states that he is able to hide cursed tools inside his stomach. Telling him to shut up, Geto questions how Toji even got into the tombs. He says that humans leave behind more than just cursed energy and that his senses have sharpened since he has none. Geto yells for Toji to die with the fight starting again. We see Toji cuts it open, but the woman Geto brought out catches him in an innate domain. The woman questions if Toji thinks she is pretty, which he replies saying she is not his type. Cutting his ear, we see she has blades around Toji who knocks them away. Geto appears behind Toji trying to steal his cursed spirit, but gets repelled and sliced open by Toji. Nearly killing Geto, he tells him that he has only kept him alive due to not knowing what would happen to his curses. Telling Geto to thank his parents he is not a Shikigami user, Toji leaves remembering why he named his son Megumi, which means blessed. We see that Gojo's hand twitches and he is still alive. Toji drops the vessel off and while leaving, Gojo appears out of nowhere saying, "Long time no see." Saying he feels like new, we see that Gojo learned reverse cursed technique. Claiming he has lost already, Gojo tells Toji that he should have cut his head off with that blade. We see Gojo has gone psycho and Toji tries to attack him. Gojo dodges every attack and uses red to send Toji flying back, calling Gojo a monster. Toji brings out the chain of 1,000 miles but feels that something is off, dodging all his attacks. Gojo says, "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." Toji attacks Gojo but cannot land a hit. We see that Gojo has learned to use Hollow Purple, who uses it on Toji. Seeing that he has lost, Toji has a realization that Gojo was right. Toji explains that he deviated from his true self fighting for his own affirmation, instead of money, which made him lose. Gojo asks Toji if he has any final words, which Toji responds with no, but then says that he has a son that will be sold off to the Zenin clan in 2 to 3 years. He tells Gojo that he can do as he pleases with his kid, and the episode ends.